Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is Friday, October 18th. Another good week of football, and actually probably one of the better weeks we've had so far. 4 top 10 matchups per my power rankings, which are the best power rankings out there. We get the Super Bowl rematch of Kansas City versus San Francisco, Houston against Green Bay, the Lions and the Vikings in an NFC North clash, and then Baltimore, Tampa Bay on Monday night. Also this week, the return of Nick Chubb. We have 2 Monday night football games, one at 8:15, one at 9:30. I don't know why they're making me stay up late for the Chargers and Cardinals, but I guess I'm going to have to. And then finally, Danger Russ is back. I don't know why he is, but we get to go see him play football on Sunday night versus a new-look Jets team, I guess. But, yeah, here to preview Week 7 of the NFL, give you some NFL news, talk about these big trades that we've just happened. It's going to be another good episode, as always. Yeah, I guess let's get right into... Actually, before that, I just fed my dog, and she has this puzzle ball thing that she gets her food out of. She might be making some sounds. I think she's okay. I think it's all done. But if you hear weird background noises that aren't normally there, you can blame Lucy on that one. Yeah, okay, let's get into the NFL Weekly Update, though. Oh, I didn't say this last week either. I'm trying to, do intros where I actually, clip out the intro and be like, preview, something to look forward to. And both times I've missed that I'm doing the blind Thursday Night Football recap, as always. Kind of got it right last week, not really, but, yeah, NFL Weekly Update here. Give you some injury updates first and foremost. Andrew Thomas out for the year with a Liz Frank injury. If you don't know what that is and had to Google it like me, that's his foot. Rashid Shaheed is out for the year with a meniscus injury. He got surgery today, was just confirmed earlier. He is done. Jordan Mailata, the Eagles left tackle, expected to miss a couple weeks with a hamstring injury. Chuck Clark, the Jets safety, goes on IR with an ankle. Aiden Hutchinson, of course, out for the season with his brutal, I think it was a tibia fracture. 90-degree leg. Pretty easy to see why he'd be out. Commanders defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, also out for quite a while anyways. I don't know if it's the season, but he has a torn pec. That sucks for them. He's probably their best defensive player, and that's already a very bad defense. And yeah, something little. Tyjae Spears is out this week. Yeah, Tyjae Spears is out this week. For honestly, I think for injury updates so far this year, that's been the smallest list of injuries that I've had to say, which, woo, but on the other hand, I think that all of the good players are already hurt. Actually, don't say that. That's a knock on wood there. That's, yeah. Yeah, so let's get into some of these trades here. So first of all, Davante Adams, reunited back with Aaron Rodgers, goes to the Jets for a conditional third-round pick. The conditions of that pick is it becomes a second if Adams makes an All-Pro team, whether that first or second team All-Pro, or if the Jets make an AFC Championship game / Super Bowl with Davante on the roster. The good thing is, I don't think the Jets have to worry about that turning into a second-round pick. Yeah. So, I've got some thoughts on this trade, and basically, for the second time in 2 weeks, GM Joe Douglas has hit the panic button because firing the coach didn't work, and now it's okay, let's go get Aaron's number one guy, his favorite target, which isn't a bad move in general. I think Davante Adams is still a very good player. Is he the guy from Green Bay a couple years ago? Though, no. But he's still top 15, top 10 receiver in the league. No questions. However, I don't think that the Jets are a good organization in general. They're run poorly. This has been apparent over the last ever. And I don't think this really changes much. Yeah, the AFC is completely out of whack right now. Can I definitely see the Jets making a playoff spot? Sure. Wild card, yeah. I don't think it matters at the end of the day. I don't think that this really changes much with how the Jets are. Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. He still flashes and shows you the old Aaron, but that's not him anymore. And there's more bad plays than great ones right now anyways, and I don't know if adding Adams really fixes that. And on top of all of that, I don't think that this defense is that great anymore. But with the way the AFC is, I guess, yeah, Joe Douglas, it's another throw at saving his job. I don't blame him, but now the Jets are without their third-round pick for the next 2 seasons. The other one because of that Hassan Reddick trade. Again, it's a move that I like, but I just don't think it does anything for the Jets, like in general. They went from, being maybe a wild card team to being maybe a wild card team. It's as simple as that. They are nowhere near to contending with some of these other AFC teams. I think we can just leave it at that. Raiders on the other side. It is what it is, I guess. Like, I have nothing for you. Like, quite literally. It's good that you got a third-round pick that could be a second. I doubt it's going to be a second, but it's good that you got, like, that's decent value for Adams anyways. I have no idea what their direction is, like, really. And mainly that's probably because the Raiders have gotten into this bad trend where it started with Mike Mayock and John Gruden, but Gruden gets fired. Mike Mayock makes the next hire at head coach. That head coach then doesn't like Mike Mayock, gets him fired, and then, Josh McDaniels would have been the coach. Another GM comes in, they don't get along, and then it's a big trend of not having your GM and head coach come in at the exact same time. And I don't know what direction they're going in right now. And at the time, I really liked the Antonio Pierce hire. So did a lot of the Raiders guys. Devontae Adams was one of those guys being like, yeah, keep him. Max Crosby, major advocate. And it's like, okay, they hired him. I thought that was the right hire for this season. But since then, they have made some questionable hires. Tom Telesco being the GM. Not Shane Waldron. Luke Getsy, the Raiders offense coordinator. They just haven't, I don't know. And I think that Antonio Pierce could be a one and done. It would be really weird if he was, and I don't think, again, Mark Davis definitely cannot have 3 coaches he's not paying, he can't have 3 coaches he's paying, not coach his football team right now. Paying 4 NFL head coaches at once would be absolutely insane, but Mark Davis might do it, because, I don't know. Yeah, the Raiders, it's not looking good. Like, again, I said it on the Wednesday show, but you got Max Crosby, you got Brock Bowers, you got Christian Wilkins, I guess. You gave him a shit ton of money, and he's hurt right now, but, like, not a lot to work with at all. Cupboard is bare. Maybe you hit on a couple picks in this next draft class, but it's not good. Not good at all. Next trade here, the other receiver to go. Amari Cooper and a 6th-round pick go to the Bills for a 3rd and a 7th. We'll start with the Bills side of this. Amari Cooper was so excited about this trade that he decided to drive from Cleveland to Buffalo because he wanted to get out of there so bad. Drove there overnight, too. But this is a deal that I think that the Bills needed to make. I think going into the season, I was one of those people being like, I believe in what the Bills have on offense with Kincaid, Shakir, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel. Like, that's pretty good. Shakir's been banged up. granted, but he's looked his part. He's played the role. Kincaid's been up and down, had some early drops. Hopefully he gets it kind of back on track. But Keon Coleman is not an instant impact starter from day one, and that's fine. A lot of first-round picks aren't. But I think that Brandon Beane, the Bills GM, kind of banked on that. And Keon Coleman's looked good and he's flashed, but right now he's not a number one guy on the field. And Amari Cooper is. And Amari Cooper allows you to get someone like Mac Hollins, who I love, off the field. But Mac Hollins should not be a key contributor to any NFL offense. Great guy for a jump ball special teams. I've said this before. But getting Amari in there unlocks the offense. And I know some people are probably thinking, it's like, well, they just let Stephon Diggs walk. Why would they do that just to go trade away another asset to get Amari Cooper? Part of the reason was because Amari Cooper's $20 million salary was converted into a signing bonus. So the Bills are only paying him the league minimum. I think it's like $875,000. That's his cap hit. So that's why they can do it. And I've already liked the direction the Bills' offense is going. Their run game has looked great. Ray Davis has been, his game last week was superb without James Cook. James Cook back healthy this week. The offensive line looks good. And the passing attack has looked decent. You add in Amari Cooper. We saw what Amari Cooper did with Joe Flacco at the end of last season. He was fucking incredible. The Bills are going to be good. The Bills were already good, but the Bills are going to continue being good. I think I hit on all of my points that I wanted to hit there for the Bills. Yeah, I did. That was good. I remembered all my talking points. Browns on the other side. Yeah, a move that they needed to make, clearly. This team isn't going anywhere. They are stuck. They need to acquire as much young talent and cheap talent as humanly possible because they are going to have a man for the next 2 seasons take up $72 million of their cap. And no, they should not keep pushing that money back because that just prolongs the problem. I'm talking to you. I'm not even going to say his name. Nope. Fucking ridiculous. But they should not keep pushing that money back, and they need to just kind of deal with the situation they put themselves in. And this kind of leads me to, should the Browns start a little bit of a fire sale? Amari Cooper is gone for a third. I think that needed to happen. But they got a couple vets on this team right now, too, who I don't know why you wouldn't look at what their trade market is. Someone like Zadarius Smith, definitely on the older side, but still has been productive in the last few years, even given his age. Someone like the Lions, maybe, who just lost their star pass rusher and are looking for any kind of pass rush help. Maybe that's their guy. I don't know what the pick would go for. And even someone like Jack Conklin, who has been the right tackle. He's been injured a little bit, but they have DeJuan Jones behind him, who they drafted last year, who played very well while Conklin was injured. And now Conklin is back playing. Like, maybe you just see what's out there. Who wants a right tackle? Who's trying to bolster up their offensive line before the playoffs? Those are the two guys who I think that they should move on from. Like, at this point. Like, someone will trade for both of those. Like, again, both solid starters at their position right now, given age, injury, whatever. Those are the two guys I would expect the Browns to maybe shop around. I think Zadarius Smith's name has already been thrown out there quite a bit. Jack Conklin's the other one who I think maybe that's what the Browns should do. Yeah, I guess that kind of covers the trades. We have a big extension here. Lions defensive tackle Aleem McNeil, 4-year, $97 million deal, $55 million guaranteed. If you have been a listener to this show, you know that I have been praising Aleem McNeil heavily for these past couple years. And that's the payday. He completely deserves that. He is a great run stuffer, plugs up the gaps. Now he has DJ Reader next to him, someone who is also still great, but a vet who he can learn from. Like, I don't think Aleem McNeil has hit his ceiling, and I don't think that the Lions, with this number, think that he's hit that ceiling either. I'm trying to remember what I think he's top 5 in defensive tackle money right now. Chris Jones 1, Christian Wilkins 2, and I forget where the other 3 shake out, but he's behind Christian Wilkins by quite a bit, by $3.5 million AAV, that's a great number to lock him up at. Christian Wilkins, again, I've said it before. He got a huge bag, and I love that for him, like, deserved, but, like, it was a lot of money for Christian Wilkins. There's a reason the Dolphins didn't pay that, even though I was sad about it. But, yeah, shout out to Aleem McNeil. I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit of Lions fans who are not going to see, like, the box score stats and be like, why are we paying this guy this much money? He can't do, and it's like, watch the game, and you'll understand what Aleem McNeil does for your team. Hassan Reddick news. We got a little bit of Hassan Reddick news. So he got let go by his agency CAA, then signs with Drew Rosenhaus, granted permission to seek a trade, and then it came out that one of the Eagles' trade clauses that if the Jets trade him to an NFC team, they automatically get a second-round pick. Good GMing by Howie Roseman adding in that clause, especially knowing that Reddick was disgruntled and did not want to go to the Jets. My immediate thought on when I saw this news last week was, why is the Canadian Automobile Agency, like, cutting ways with Hassan Reddick? Like, what did he do to deserve that? Because if you're not aware, so I didn't know that CAA was a sports agency, because up here in Canada, that's like your OnStar, you call to get a tow truck, roadside assistance type thing. So yeah, I thought it was really weird when I read that news from Schefter last week, being like, okay, CAA cut ties with them. That's on me, totally on me, but thought I'd have to share that because that was hilarious. But no, Hassan Reddick, again, the Lions, again, I don't think the Jets are going to try as hard as possible to not trade him to the NFC right now, but Joe Douglas, just cut ties, find something that you can get back from him. I don't know what, and I don't know what Reddick's looking for either, because apparently he turned down a one-year deal from the Jets that was pretty fair, pretty good. Turned it down, and that's why his agency cut ties with them, because they're like, hey, we're not dealing with this anymore. We'll see what happens, but that's just kind of the latest update in the Reddick cycle. Another trade here. Cam Akers back to the Vikings, traded for a conditional 6th-round pick. I think Tom Pelissero tweeted out that this has nothing to do with like Aaron Jones' hip injury, but just a guy who knows the system, was there last year and just kind of added depth. And Akers has looked pretty good this year, but I think the Texans felt comfortable letting him go with Dameon Pierce looking pretty good, and then I'm going to mess his name up so bad, but Dare Ogunbowale. Maybe that I think that sounded pretty good, but yeah, with those two and then Joe Mixon back in the fold, I think that they were like, okay, we can let Akers go, and getting a 6th-round pick back for Akers, that's pretty good value if you're Nick Caserio. Yeah, nothing major anyways, but it's NFL news. Jamal Adams gets granted his request to get released by the Titans, so he is now a free agent. I don't know where Jamal Adams is going to go, and it's crazy. There was a time that a couple years after he was drafted, he was the best safety. The Seahawks traded 2 first-round picks for him. That's how good he was. But, yeah, he's fallen off very quickly, and I don't know where Blitzboy is going to go next, but someone will sign him. And yeah, lastly here, Tom Brady becomes a minority owner in the Las Vegas Raiders, which, yeah, that's news, obviously, but that ownership comes with some restrictions for Tom here. So he's not permitted to be in another team's facility, not permitted to witness practice, not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings, either in person or virtually, prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs, subject to the NFL's gambling policy, and subject to the NFL's anti-tampering policy. So with all of that, Tom Brady right now calls games. He is one of the broadcasters that you hear on your TV, and one of the highest paid guys to do it right now. And with all those restrictions, doesn't sound like he's going to be able to do that for much longer. I have no idea what game he's calling on Sunday. It's going to be awful. If he can't criticize other teams or be part of the broadcasting meetings, which is literally his job, I don't know how this is going to go. And he replaced a guy, Greg Olson, Hall of Very Good, by the way, who was phenomenal at this last year. And he got relegated to the B team, so Tom Brady could step up. And now Brady's done this. And I don't know what broadcast company like he works for, if it's NBC, ABC, CBS, whatever. That can't happen. Like, Tom Brady just cannot call games anymore. Like, that's a huge conflict of interest on both sides. I know he's getting paid a shit ton of money to announce the games. I keep saying broadcast, but I don't know how it can happen anymore. Let's just get Greg Olson back. Let's just wash our hands, be like, okay, we messed up and should have never been Tom Brady, but cool that Brady's a minority owner, I guess. And yeah, with that, we can get into the blind Thursday night football recap. Unfortunately, this was a very sad night. Legendary broadcaster, announcer Al Michaels has tragically passed away at the age of 79 after witnessing that debacle of a Thursday night football game. Luckily for Al, he had the previous 2 weeks of high energy, high offense games, but watching the Broncos and the Saints go out there and do that, that was enough to finish him. Obviously, that's a joke. Al Michaels is not dead. Should make that clear. But this game was terrible. Broncos without their best player, Pat Surtain. The Saints without half of their starting offense. Not good football. I will say, though, Spencer Rattler did manage to outplay Bo Nix. Whatever that really means. Didn't really mean much. But, yeah. Defensive football, I guess. Low scoring game. Shout out Bub Means. He didn't do much in this one, but shout out Bub Means. I will continue to shout him out as long as he continues to start on the Saints. Final score, 17-13 for the Saints. Hope Al Michaels is doing okay after this one. That's the Blind Thursday Night Football recap. We can get into the Week 7 preview here. Teams on bye this week. The Chicago Bears after their trip to London, and the Dallas Cowboys after getting their ass kicked on Jerry's 82nd birthday. But yeah, we'll start off with the, I think, last London game. We've had 3 so far. I think there's games in Germany and stuff and whatever, but maybe this is the last London one. The number 26th ranked Patriots go against the number 27th ranked Jaguars. Jags minus 5.5. Total set at 41.5. Doug Peterson coaching for his job at this point. Coaching is his job, but he's coaching for his job. And I think the Jags are going to win this one for one reason alone, really, is because they played in London last week, and they just stayed in London. They are no longer jet-lagged. They are good. They're not dealing with any of the weird practice. They're adjusted. They're just playing an NFL game on Sunday now. The Patriots have to deal with the schedule, have to deal with weird practice conditions, not knowing really where they are getting, yeah. And honestly, if, like, the Jags roster is so much better on paper than the Patriots. So much better. Like, I think if I were to name the top 10 players on each side, I would probably name 8 Jags guys and maybe 2 Patriots guys. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I think the 2 Patriots guys I would name would be Kyle Duggar, Christian Gonzalez. And yeah, I'm not going to do it, obviously, but the Jags are better. However, the Jags are the Jags have a coach who's looking for a culture change, and lucky for them, after this week, that culture change would have happened, because Doug Peterson will get fired. I'm on the Jags to win in this one. Now, 5.5 points, that seems crazy. I think Tyson Campbell is back for them, so that is a big addition for this Jags defense. And for coordinator Ryan Nielsen, who, despite not having his best man cover corner, continues to play man coverage constantly with old-ass Ronald Darby. Not great that, maybe you should adjust your scheme based on who's out there, but I digress. Interested to see what Drake May looks like again. This is hasn't been a good Jags defense, but the pieces are there. There's likable players everywhere, and he's going against a tough pass rush again with Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker. I'll include Eric Armstead because he is a name at this point, but yeah, I think the Jags are going to win this one. 5.5, I have no idea, but this is going to be probably Doug Peterson's last game in the NFL, and we can move on to the afternoon slate. The number 29 ranked Titans versus the number 7 ranked Bills. Bills minus, I think it's 9.5 now. Total set at 40.5. I love seeing lines like that where one team is favored by 9.5, like that much points, but it's a low total in general. So it's like, I think the Bills could probably easily score 28, and that just means that the Titans are going to score less than 2 touchdowns, which probably will be the case. Amari Cooper should be playing. I'm sure that he will get involved a lot. Yeah. This feels to me like this is going to be one of those Josh Allen, like vintage Josh Allen games where he's running a lot, he's throwing all over the field, the scrambling, like wild-ass Josh Allen shit that we really haven't seen this year. He's been playing very good football, but it's not like it's the Josh Allen where it's like you see him like, oh my god, that's incredible, he's so good. And then the other side, and then the very next play, he does the most mind-numbing, dumb thing that you could ever think. And that's the Josh Allen that I miss. And I think that we are going to get the chaotic version of Josh Allen. I think it'll be chaotic to, like, his gain. I think this is going to be like a 300-yard passing game with 3 TDs, 1 interception. Because Josh Allen hasn't thrown an interception this year. And obviously that's great, not pause for concern. But maybe Josh Allen should open it up just a little bit more. I've missed that side of him. Titans on the other side. You get the bad version of Josh Allen at all times with Will Levis, the guy who is going to constantly make boneheaded moves, not be able to throw the ball down the field. Yeah, the Titans offense is just bad. And the defense can only do so much. I think that the roster is pretty good, but Will Levis at quarterback will not win you games, especially against the Bills team this good. And I think we can move on. Next game up here, Dolphins 24. The number 24 ranked Dolphins, ouch, versus the number 18th ranked Colts. Colts minus 3, total set at 43.5. Listen. And I know I shouldn't be saying this, and I know I have no right to say this, but the Dolphins are the better team than the Colts. Not per my power rankings, obviously, but on paper, our roster is much better than what the Colts are working with. And I think we have a week. We had a week off with the bye. Coming back, Mike McDaniel is going to scheme things for Tyler Huntley specifically, get that run game going with Mostert, Achane, and Wright. Get our playmakers involved. Get Tyreek, Waddle, Jonnu, OBJ. Maybe we might see an OBJ sighting in Miami. That would be great. This Colts defense has allowed someone to have a career game off them basically every single week, but last week against the Titans. And I'll say this, Tyler Huntley is a better quarterback than Will Levis. And I think we have the better team. I think we have the better coach team too. However, we're playing the Colts, and Anthony Richardson is the QB this week. No more Joe Flacco. Because I would have been very confident if Joe Flacco was the QB that we were playing against this week. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We get to play Anthony Richardson, and this is going to go one of two ways. Anthony Richardson is going to have one of his bad, okay performances where he doesn't hit the easy throws and just makes a few too many mistakes for his team to really stay in it and sustain long drives. Or he's going to do unspeakable things on the football field where it's just like, how does he do that? He's like one of 2 people in the league who can do things like that. And that is the thing with Anthony Richardson. He is extremely bipolar as a quarterback right now, and the way he plays. it would not shock me if he has like an 80-yard rushing game and a touchdown and has, I don't know, like 17 attempted passes for 250 yards. Like, he is that type of talent. He's all over the place in general, but when he is on, and that absolutely terrifies me. Again, I have faith in the Dolphins and our defense to contain even the very good of Anthony Richardson, and I have enough hope in the offense. We have so many good skill players that like we should be able to move the ball relatively easily. I'm excited to see what Tyler Huntley and Mike McDaniel have cooked up after the bye week. I'm on the Dolphins in this one. Why would you expect me to say anything else? I am on the Dolphins, but Anthony Richardson constantly scares me. I think it's as simple as that. In good and bad ways for Anthony Richardson. Next game up here, one of the best matchups of the week, NFC North, sorry. Big divisional class, the number 3 ranked Lions versus the number 2 ranked Vikings. Vikings minus 1.5, total set at 50.5. That total is set very high for a reason. This Vikings offense, also off a bye week, is now going against the Lions defense without its best player and its kind of linchpin to kind of hold everything together, because without Aiden Hutchinson, they don't have a pass rush whatsoever. And I will say I do believe in the Lions staff to think of new and creative ways on defense to get to the pass rusher. But it's going to be tough for them, very tough for them regardless. Yeah, and then we have the Brian Flores defense going against this Lions offense that has looked absolutely incredible. And I saw some stats on Twitter from, I think, my good friend. I've never met the man. I've never even talked to him other than a few Twitter replies. But he's a good follow anyways, Brett Coleman. But I think he tweeted out the stats where it's like Jared Goff versus the Vikings defense and specifically against the blitz, which if you've watched the Vikings, that's what they do. Constantly. They blitz, and his numbers were very, very good. Where the Lions have enough playmakers and everywhere, and their offensive line is good enough to pick up those blitzes where Jared Goff is able to cook just a little bit. And this might be a chance to see what just the Vikings front four, what their pass rush do. Maybe Dallas Turner shows up, maybe has a big game, but I think that Goff is going to cook on the Vikings defense, and I think Darnold and this Vikings offense will also cook the Lions defense. It's going to be a high-scoring one. I am on the Lions. Holy sneeze, that was bad. I apologize. Yeah, I am on the Lions in this one. I think that the Lions are... I can't trust Sam Darnold yet. I think it's as simple as that. He needs to continue to do what he does for me to fully buy in, but like, I can't buy into Sam Darnold. Not yet. He's been great, and he's been so much fun to watch, but like, week 7, no. Week 12, I think that'll be the point where I'm like, when snow hits the ground, which, I mean, for fucking here, could be any day, and then it melts, and then whatever, but, I'm not bought in on the Vikings completely yet. I think they're a very good team, very well coached team. But I can't buy into Sam Darnold being like a starting quarterback on a contending team yet. And I think that's fair to say. We've seen a lot of Sam Darnold to warrant that pause anyways. But this is going to be a good one. I'm very excited to see this game on Red Zone. Next game up here, the number 15 ranked Bengals versus the number 32 ranked Browns. Bengals minus 5.5, total set at 41.5. So the Bengals, again, on paper, the much better team. The offense I keep talking about, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, mwah, chef's kiss. They play great. But their defense is atrocious. Their defense is one of the worst in the NFL, and luckily for that defense, they're playing against one of the worst quarterbacks of this century, and an offense that has Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore as their top 2 weapons, which doesn't sound too good. Should be easy to stop, but again, like last week with the Eagles, I have my concerns about... Fuck, I can't believe every week I'm like, maybe the Browns can do it. And it's not because Deshaun can have top 20, top 25 QB play even. That man is cooked. He stinks, whatever. But I think the vibes around the Browns right now, because Nick Chubb is back. Nick Chubb is expected to play this Sunday, I believe. And I think just him being back there is huge and can give the Browns some sort of weird momentum maybe. And the Browns defense is still good. They do what they do consistently. The secondary's been a little weaker this season, but Myles Garrett against that offensive line, like, it's over. Yeah, this is... I might take the Browns plus 5.5, which I absolutely hate. But the vibes that Nick Chubb could bring back to the offense might be just enough to keep this game consistently close if the Browns defense does, in fact, clamp Jamar and T. I don't know, though. I had another thought. Yeah, I guess we'll see with Nick Chubb, too. Like, I think that purely vibes-wise is the reason. I don't think Nick Chubb is going to come in here, rush for 100 yards and have 2 TDs and whatever and look like the old Nick Chubb. This is now the second time he's had a devastating knee injury where he's basically ripped up everything in his knee and they've had to rebuild it. Not a lot of players come back from one of those. I don't know how many come back from 2 and be as good as they were. I hope that Nick Chubb is still great. He's so much fun to watch. He's such a good runner. Yeah, I guess I can give my thoughts fully on Nick Chubb on Wednesday's show when we've seen him play. But other than that, and Nick Chubb's a maybe. I should also say that. He's not... There's a chance that he just flat out doesn't play and Bengals by 1 million probably. Next game up here, the number 9 Falcons versus the number 11 Seahawks. Falcons -3, total set at 51.5. This is a very good game, just NFC playoff landscape in general. The Falcons are leading their division right now, I believe 4-2? Does 4-2 sound right? I think so. Started off 0-2 against, yeah. I'll just go with 4-2. I'm too lazy to look it up right now, but Falcons leading that division. Seahawks were leading their division up until last week. And they're kind of on the same page in my mind, where both offenses have cooked at points, have looked a little lesser at some points, and the defenses have left a little to be desired anyways. The Falcons secondary is their strength, where I would say the Seahawks front 7 and their defensive line specifically is one of their bigger strengths. I don't know. This is a very evenly matched game, in my opinion. Byron Murphy talked about how, the Falcons were potentially picking him at, where did they pick? 8th overall in this draft, like he was a rumored spot. And he's like, nah, I'm pissed. Like, they passed on me, and I'm going to destroy them on Sunday. And I believe him. I believe that Byron Murphy has the power to destroy this team. And the Seahawks defense has missed him a ton. So the fact that he will be back there, it's a little bit boost for the Seahawks. I'm going to avoid this game, like, in general. I think Seahawks +3 is a little enticing. And maybe the under, honestly. I think this could be like the defense's step up where they really haven't so far, and the offenses still play well, but not 51.5 points. Like, maybe it's a 23-27, which is 50 points, but like that's still the under. Yeah. Next game up here, the number 14th ranked Eagles versus the number 22 ranked Giants. Eagles -3, total set at 42.5. Saquon Barkley revenge game versus the Giants, who did not want to offer him. They said, yeah, go hit the free market. No one's going to offer you what you want. The Eagles did, and Saquon Barkley has looked tremendous this season. He's looked like Saquon Barkley. However, Saquon doesn't think he's going to get booed by the home Giants crowd. He's going to get booed. He went to a division rival. Of course he's going to get booed. there will obviously, it'll be a mixed reaction. I'm sure there'll be a lot of cheers. I'm sure there will be a ton of booing. But the fact that Saquon doesn't expect people to boo is, I think, a little absurd. But yeah, and I guess the other big thing for the Giants is Malik Neighbors is back, will be playing on Sunday after he attended a Travis Scott concert last week with his concussion. That's something I didn't really get to talk about much, but just that's hilarious. The fact that he missed Sunday night's game. Was that Sunday? Yeah, he missed Sunday night's game with his concussion, even though he went to a Travis Scott concert a couple days earlier. Diva wide receivers, you gotta love them. But yeah, actual matchup in this one. I again, it's the no faith in Nick Sirianni and his staff and just what they're doing in general. And I don't think the players buy into what they're doing in general. I think it's a lot of individuals right now looking out for themselves, where, say what you want about this Giants team and Brian Dable. Brian Dable has had them fighting every single week despite no Neighbors out there, despite Daniel Jones being allergic to throwing the ball 10 plus yards down the field. He's been making it work, and the defense has been great. No Jordan Mailata for the Eagles in this one, which is a pretty big loss, but yeah, I don't know. It's like, again, the Eagles, everything on paper, sure, they should win. I wouldn't discount the Giants. I'm saying basically the same thing that I said last week when they played the Bengals. Don't discount them, especially because Neighbors is back. I expect him to, again, be a huge part of their offense like he really was, and he gives them that yak ability, which some of the other receivers don't, but, yeah. Also, no Andrew Thomas, though, is also huge, and Daniel Jones's numbers take a huge drop-off when Andrew Thomas isn't on the field. So yeah, bad matchup, but Brian Dable is a much better coach, than Nick Sirianni, and that matters. That definitely matters. Next game up here, my number 30 ranked Panthers versus the number 12 ranked Commanders. Commanders -8, total set of 51.5. This is probably the matchup of the two worst defenses going against each other in the NFL. The Panthers with absolutely no pass rush whatsoever versus the Commanders with absolutely no secondary. And now without Jonathan Allen on that defensive line, takes a big hit. I don't know if Johnny Newton, who they drafted in the second round this year, is healthy. I don't believe he is. I haven't really watched enough Commanders to notice, is their second round defensive tackle pick really starting? But I think I would have heard about that. Either way, the total is high for a reason, because these defenses can't stop anything. The Panthers have just been absolutely atrocious the entire season, basically, and the Commanders had a couple are they okay? And no, they're not okay. The Ravens were able to do whatever they wanted to them, and granted, it's the Ravens and this is the Panthers, but I don't think it should be Commanders -8. I think that the Panthers' offense, and especially their run game, has looked very good. Hold on. The run game has looked very good. The offense has looked pretty good since Dalton has come back in. I'm expecting... I think Xavier Leggett's going to have a pretty good game. Jonathan Brooks, he's practicing anyways, which is big for the Panthers. Probably won't play in this one. I don't think he's actually playing in this one, but... yeah, I think the Panthers can keep it close. 8 points is quite a lot when your team also has a really bad defense to keep those leads and keep more than a touchdown lead. Yeah. This should be a massive, massive Jane Daniels game. Rushing, passing, literally everything he wants. Excited for that. Next game up here, the number 31 ranked Raiders versus the number 20 ranked Rams. Rams -6.5, total set at 43.5. Cooper Kupp is back. That is absolutely huge for the Rams offense, and that's probably part of the reason why this line is 6.5, because, no. I mean, Stafford, Sean McVay, immediate huge advantage, even if Cooper Kupp doesn't play. But the fact that they might have a real weapon on offense. that means that they'll be able to score some points. And how you stop the Raiders' offense is you find the white balding man in the slot somewhere, usually, or just off the line, and you cover him. That man is Brock Bowers. Plain and simple, really. Cover Brock Bowers, you can basically stop what the Raiders want to do on offense. And the Raiders can't really stop anyone on defense either. Like, Max Crosby's trying his damn hardest, and he's going to have some pretty easy chances to get to Matt Stafford. That offensive line is tremendously banged up, and Matt Stafford is old and cannot move as well as he could have. Max Crosby's definitely, I don't think it's hard to say that Max Crosby's going to get a sack. Of course he's going to get a sack. He's Max Crosby. He usually gets a sack every single game. Next game up here, the number 1 ranked Chiefs versus the number 7 ranked 49ers. 49ers minus 1.5, total set of 46.5. We get the Super Bowl rematch from this past season and the 2019-2020 Super Bowl year 2. Yeah, I meant to look it up, and I'm going to look it up now because I seem to remember that Andy Reid off a bye has a very good record. Yeah, Andy Reid is 21-4 following a bye week. That has me rethinking what I was about to say, because I'll be honest, I am on the Niners in this one, and I shouldn't doubt the Chiefs, but I think that the Chiefs are just kind of due to have a loss. They've played a lot of not very great football, and it hasn't really mattered whatsoever. But the Niners are good. The Niners' offense has been cooking. I don't know if Jordan Mason is going to play in this one. Either way, I have a lot of confidence in Isaac Guerrero. I got a lot of confidence in Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Jawan Jennings, etc. Yeah, like, I don't think that Juju Smith-Schuster and Travis Kelce are enough. But, like, I would have said in the Super Bowl, and I'm sure that you could go back to my Super Bowl preview from last year and be like, I don't think that Travis Kelce and... Well, I guess it would have been Rashee Rice, but like Travis Kelce and Mecole Hardman are enough against the 49ers. And I would have been wrong. I'm on the Niners in this one, but Andy Reid 21-4 after a bye week. It's tough. It's tough. Again, this is going to be a good matchup. The Niners need to win this one. They don't need to win this one, but like, in the grand scheme of things, they need to win this one. They need a big win. They need... Yeah. We can keep going here. Yeah, Sunday Night Football. The number 17 ranked Jets versus the number 16 ranked Steelers. Jets -2. Total set at 38.5. Same thing with Andy Reid, but Mike Tomlin, Mike Tomlin underdog at home. Sorry, I'm typing as I'm doing this. Unprofessional, I know. Mike Tomlin as a home underdog is 16-7, which is a 68 win percentage. Which is very, very good. Again, it's just... Again, we've talked about the Jets, and like the Devontae Adams thing, that's huge, and it should help their offense and whatever. They're playing against a really fucking good defense, and this defense is always good. TJ Watt continues what he's going to do, and I think that this offense will get shut down just because they're playing a good defense. I would have been all over the Steelers in this one, except they decided to put Russell Wilson in at quarterback to see if they could get their passing attack going a little bit more. Which is fair, because I think as good as Justin Fields has been this season, they have not been throwing the ball and moving the ball down the field with their passing attack very well. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, being like, well, they only have George Pickens to throw to, really. Van Jefferson stinks. Calvin Austin stinks. I think their third-round pick, Roman Wilson, has not seen the field. I like Pat Freiermuth. And the run game isn't very good. So it's like Justin Fields has done the best of what he can do. And Justin Fields, being the guy he is, was like, yeah, I didn't play well enough to keep this job. And I think that's just Justin Fields being a good teammate, good guy, because he did. He just flat out did. Because, yeah, Russ might be a little bit of a better of a passer than he is right now, but Justin Fields is so dynamic with his legs. I don't really care about the passing ability. Obviously, that's huge if you play quarterback. But I think the difference between Fields and Russ as a passer right now is very, very minor. Like, yeah, I think the passing attack will improve this week, but will it improve so much to be like, oh yeah, that's why Russ should have started? No. And this Steelers offensive line has not been good. Broderick Jones, their first round pick from last year, has basically been a human turnstile, where Fields has been able to scramble, make guys miss because he is still young, dynamic, has fresh legs. Russ, a decade ago, I would have been saying the same thing. He cannot do that anymore. He is not elusive, he is not mobile, and the things that made Russ such a great quarterback, he just does not have those things. He cannot improvise the way that he used to. He cannot go off script. And he's not that good of a pocket passer. It's a boneheaded move by Mike Tomlin. I think I can say that. And this isn't a me like, oh, Justin Fields is a such better. Like, I think that they're very even quarterbacks right now. And I don't think that warrants pulling Justin Fields to put Russ in there. Because Russ is going to get killed. But again, I don't know. This is Mike Tomlin underdog at home. If Fields was starting in this one, I would have taken the Steelers. Unfortunately, he is not. And I'm probably just going to avoid this game in general because I think this is it's a smelly matchup between smelly teams. And the Steelers aren't smelly per se, but it's a bad move. I don't like this move. They have no reason to put Russ in there. No reason. And we can move on to the Monday night games, because that's for some reason the Sunday night game, even with all of the lovely matchups we have. But the first Monday night football game, the number 4 Ravens versus the number 10 Buccaneers. Ravens minus 3.5, total set at 49.5. I think this is a game where, the Bucs have looked nice, and they had their close game against the Falcons, and who did they play last week? They put up a lot of points last week, but it didn't, because Baker had 3 interceptions. The Saints last week. It's like, they've been putting up points, they've been looking good, and now they play the Ravens, the Ravens are just flat out better. Better quarterback, better running game, better defense, better coaching. I think it's as simple as that. I just don't buy into what the Bucs are a good team, and I shouldn't be disparaging them that much, because the Bucs are fun, and I think that they are a good team, but the Ravens are just better. The Ravens are better. This is kind of shitty of me to say. Maybe they get a hurricane bump because they're at home, and obviously the hurricane was awful and it ripped through Tampa, so maybe they get some crowd buzz and it the whole community together cheering on their favorite team. That's enough, and those things matter. When the crowd is in the game, they can change the game. But I don't know. I think the Ravens are going to be too much, and the Ravens will continue to do what the Ravens have been doing, other than week 2 against the Raiders, because that was embarrassing. And finally here, the number 21 ranked Chargers versus the number 23 ranked Cardinals. Chargers minus 2.5, total set at 43.5. The NFL is making me stay up late for this game for no reason. The other Monday night doubleheaders, it was a nice 7:30 game, and then 8:15 when a normal Sunday night game is supposed to start. This game starts at 9:30. I'm not happy. That means that I will be up past midnight, which really isn't a big deal for the NFL. And again, anytime I'm sitting in front of my TV watching an NFL game, I am happy. But I can still be pissed off that they're making me stay up late for Chargers Cardinals. The again, one of the most okayest team in the leagues right now, and they are in the playoffs, and they might make the playoffs. Their schedule is very easy, but they're such an okay football team, and I'm talking about the Chargers. And the Cardinals on the other side, Marv might play. I think he practiced, but it's not. It's just two very okay teams, and I guess I can be excited to be like, okay, I get to watch Marvin Harrison in prime time. I get to watch Lad McConkey on the Chargers, I guess. But if they would have switched these games around, like if the Cardinals game would have been the early game and then the Bucks was the later one, like that would have just been so much better. Or even if the Ravens Bucks was the 7:30 game and Chargers Cardinals started at the 8:15 primetime game. Obviously, Chargers Cardinals is the worst game of those two, and you wouldn't want that being your marquee Monday Night Football matchup, I guess. But I don't know. I'm staying up for it regardless. I'm not going to be happy watching this game, but I will be watching this game. Yeah. That's the Week 7 preview. Yeah, this was a good episode. Yeah, Lucy, was it a good episode? Hi, do you want to come up? Oh, good girl. Look at that. We get a Lucy appearance. If you're watching on video, you can see my lovely dog. If you're not, you can just listen to me praise my lovely dog who, yeah, she's tired. She's had a big day. She started training today. And she was very good, but we got to be a little harder on her because she is so cute and she gets away with quite a bit. But, yeah, I get carried away. But yeah, that is the preview. This is one of my longest I think it's just because I had so much to talk about in the NFL Weekly Update, but I don't know. Dolphin season is on the line here. If we win this one, Tua comes back. I am confident about playoffs anyways, but that's only if Tua stays healthy, and I don't know if he really can, but that'll be it. I can leave it here. As always, if you've liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, tell all your friends. Thank you, Joe, for telling all your friends. And until next time, peace.